Welcome back once again, everybody. After a little bit of a breakaway, we are back with the Everybody Wants to Know podcast here, presented by Pop Shop. My name is John here, and of course, we have ASAE, of course, the glorious leader of Pop Shop. How you doing, man?
Glorious leader of my ass.
What?
Were we allowed to curse in this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's HBO mentality.
It's the internet.
Yeah. Glorious leader that was led in the last 2 months by a bunch of 10-year-olds all over the country, coming back from a very long summer. Why do parents think that, oh, it's summer, I'm just going to travel with my kids and it's going to be a fun experience? You don't have kids, so you don't know.
No, yeah,
you
I don't.
Can't even answer that.
I was the kid, so I can relate back to those, but that's about it, yeah.
Bryce, we should get people here with kids so they can relate to my pain. So, but the good news, they're going back to school on Monday. Thank God. And yeah, so we're back.
We are back.
We're back and we're going right into it, you know, crazy season. I looked at your topics that you gave me for this podcast, and they're all boring topics. We can talk about so many cool things.
Well, let's leave it to you then. We just got back from...
They're interesting and might be educational for people watching, but from a practical stand, I think there's so much going on right now. Let's talk about the 100-pound gorilla in the room of the industry.
Okay.
Everyone being a last-minute order.
That's very true.
It's like, I called it last year. I said it's happening more and more, but it really is the theme of this year. And I feel like this season it's going to be that's how it turns out. I mean, you're experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, I've noticed like the last month or two, it's kind of gone down a little bit. Like everything's a little bit more like, okay, now we're focusing on the fall stuff, like 2-3 months out, which is I feel like a much more normal timeline for that sort of thing. But yeah, like for a minute there in the spring, like late spring, early summer, so much stuff. It's like, yeah, we got to do this in like a week or two. And it was like, oh, okay, we're moving quick. So
I think FIFA had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Because of low inventory in AV. People are scrambling to get something for their show. And I also think you have a very good client base. They're good to you. They feel the pain. My clients are, well, they know I'm going to say yes, you know. I love my clients. I could tell you most of my clients, I have a relationship that's not like a normal vendor-client relationship. It's friendly. I see them at trade shows. We all hang out together. So it's hard for me to say no. Don't take advantage of me, though, because I will say yes. But it's been the theme, and going into the fall season, the one thing I can say that makes our life easier is, obviously it's one of your topics, is the use of AI and how internally it helps our team to recover and make sure that we're ahead of the curve. But what AI can fix is personnel and labor and physical. We talked about it this morning. I said, hey, do you know people are looking for work in Vegas? So this might be a good platform, man. If you're looking for work in Vegas, Dallas, New Jersey, Chicago, Orlando, let us know, Nice plug-in, right?
Yep.
But yeah, let's dive into it. What do we got?
Well, first of all, before we get into the 3 topics I showed you, we just got back from an event, didn't we, over at ASAE, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. We
did not get back from ASAE. We went from ASAE straight to SISO, Leadership Summit. We were supposed to go from ASAE back home, but we ended up in SISO in Seattle, which was honestly
the last minute nature of things.
It was. No, it wasn't last minute. We work with SISO for a few years now. We're happy and proud to be a partner. Same with ASAE. ASAE, I think, was the best showing from the years I remember ASAE. For partners, vendors, exhibitors, members. The vibe was amazing, a lot of great conversations, a lot of AI topics. If you went to the sessions, both ASAE and SISO, different audience, but same conversations, which I found interesting. Associations are upping their game. They understand that they have to lure their members with digital signage and cool technologies, and that's how they're looking to educate their members with AI. So the conversation is growing. We had in our booth a few AI samples of activation, what you can do with AI, smart search, AI maps, wayfinding with our partners, Expo FP. It's a really good conversation in both shows for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, aside from that, of course, you were talking about education, and actually that was one of the topics I found this week. I think it was, let me pull it up really quickly, take a peek at the source.
This is what happens when you're
I
not
know.
ready.
It was event marketer. I was trying to make sure I quote it correctly. Recently had a study come out kind of showing the value of actually providing education, specifically for exhibitors and their booths and things like that, over just more like generic gamification and things like that. I thought that was quite interesting, kind of information on more like your specific product and kind of having someone there to kind of talk you through it, walk you through it, but still show it in a digital way, kind of show it in an educational way rather than like gamifying it or something like that. That type of format is really leading and is really impacting right now, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
It is. One of the roundtables that I attended at SISO was all about the impact of AI and how do you make sure that the usage of AI in your organization or towards your clients and partners is meaningful. It's not just, oh, we use AI, right? What are you doing with it? And the conversation from previous CISOs, ASAEs, Expo, and those industry shows that we attend and we go to the sessions changed in the last 3 to 4 years. I remember 3 years ago, someone posted, there was a session about AI saying, AI is here to enhance our experience but not take jobs. And I stood up and I said, in 3 years, AI will take 50% of the jobs. Maybe not in our industry, but in general.
Yeah.
And people laughed at me, oh, you hit the panic button too early, it's not gonna happen. And if you look at the leading companies in the world, it's about 40% rate right now of what's happening as far as the AI takeover rate. I believe in our industry, one of the reasons it's not as high percentage is because it's labor intensive, it's relationship, and it's in person, right? If we were all, after COVID, on the virtual train, we would have been gone. You would have had AI agents doing virtual meetings with themselves all over the internet. People not even know what's being sold and whatnot. But
running their own conferences.
Yeah, thank God we came back in person, and so our industry is led by in person. However, a lot of the back office, a lot of the relationships for some organizations, from the biggest one, Freeman GS, to the smallest one, is around AI. And so you are eliminating some of those jobs. Earlier this morning, I told Bryce he's going to be probably out of a job. He's lucky he can handle a camera. I'm kidding, Bryce. It's not happening. We're obviously going to do a review before we let you go. No, I'm kidding. Not going to happen, Bryce. But he's laughing. But no, it shows that you need to reinvent yourself. And someone said, enough with the word pivot. And I agree, enough with the word pivot. We're not using that anymore. But you have to reinvent yourself and use AI as a platform to bring more value. And then when you do that, you're reversing the script on what's going to happen with the future of labor in our industry. Ainsley from Closer Still Media, CISO, spoke about the impact of AI and how it defines their organization, and she brought up some event marketer data as well. So I think it's yes, we are changing the industry, and AI is going to impact, but we need to be careful in calling it out. Oh, it's gonna. So, but we need to also acknowledge it's going there, not be it's not gonna have any effect on us when we know it will. So.
Even on the physical side of it, just to kind of talk shop a little bit more, obviously there's been a lot of rumblings, I think mainly out of China, on the physical kind of robot side of AI, and kind of starting to move more into the labor side of things too. Do you see that affecting the event industry like the next 12 to 24 months maybe, or do we think it's a little bit further out than that?
I mean, we have a few already on our team. Ronan, for example, he's not human anymore. He moved to the AI world. No. I do think there are some, if you look at a warehouse environment, there are some basic things that physical robotic entity can do, and probably do very well. I think it's going to grow. I think some of the general contractor, I can imagine the conversation with the union. Imagine, fast forward 5 years, you go to a Chicago a job site, and instead of a union guy, some robotic entity comes and starts signing all the forms, and they're like, what the hell is this? It's like, I'm the union guy. I was like, oh, you're also not going to do anything? But but they bring value, and all of a sudden they know what they're doing. Imagine just that. But anyway, put all jokes aside, I think there are some benefits, the physical benefits that we can take advantage of, but I think they're going to stay limited. There's a two-tier physical aspect to what we do. There's the physical setting up, and then the physical configuring something like an LED wall that you still need some expertise. And on top of that, it's the human relationships that happen on the show floor before you get to the install. You go to the back at the service desk, you schmooze with someone to get your stuff faster in your booth. If someone gets there, give them a can of soda to get it loaded faster. I love these elements in our industry. It's all human relationships. It's the same people, that we then work with on their stuff. So I think that's not going away. When I think of immediate impact of AI, I'm thinking of marketing. I think of software. But we're a small organization. We're gonna take someone from a position they've done because AI replaced them, and find them a better fit. In fact, I think it's going to help us grow and add more people to our mix the way things are going, for sure.
Yeah. Still on the topic of kind of analysis and data and intel and everything like that, BMW had a new recent case study come out with one of their partners, showcasing how successful kind of sentiment analysis and kind of inside of their event space was. And obviously it was this huge report going on and on and on about 50 cameras in their space analyzing all these different things. But there was a nice message to it, in that we weren't tracking individuals. It wasn't creepy or anything like that. It was just so that we could gather the data on the average sentiment of someone visiting our space, and kind of use that for our marketing purposes to transform it.
Yeah.
Now it seems like something that's kind of locked away to very high-end level exhibitors. Not necessarily the case, right, with something that we have available.
It's not the case anymore, and obviously we have a great partnership with CamView that powers our analytics. And I gotta tell you, if you're gonna scream privacy, you have another year to scream that word, because it's gone. There is no privacy in our industry. You want to tell yourself there's privacy, go ahead, but you're being tracked via different ways. So the tools are there, the infrastructure is there, the hardware is there, the software is there. I think the jig is going to be up, and someone say, let's standardize it. Okay, let's make it something that everyone is on board and signs off on, how you track and where you track. When I go back to my room in my hotel, I don't want you to know that I'm there. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's not part. So whatever way you're tracking me, cut it off at a certain place and whatnot. But I think the data is beneficiary to our industry, to our clients. We want it, and I'm putting my exhibitor hat on. When we go to shows, we want to know. Now, CamView added some really cool features where we can onboard your staffing, and we can see the productivity level. We can see the ROI, the optimization of, do you need 20 people in a 20 by 20 booth, or 6 are enough? So it's tools like that I think are going to overcome the privacy discussion leading to deciding, do you want that? And the affordability. BMW is a big brand. They have money to spend on this type of setup. But CamView is one of those companies that are trying to make it more affordable. Not a solution that's going to bring the bank. You can't charge $10,000 to track a booth where the whole setup was $5,000. So it has to be more affordable. It has to be, in my opinion, embedded within the venue level. And you just go on the website, a portal, you sign up, and there's a couple cameras zoning on your booth space, and it's very easy. CamView is adding some new cameras, I think with 165 feet distance capability.
Nice.
So they can track a whole aisle and whatnot. So that's where it's going. And I'm excited because, if you put the privacy part out of it for a second, you think about the added value on how much money you can save and what reports you can generate to your boss when you're coming back from a show on what worked, what didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And when you tie into some of our equipment and kind of taking ambient level and demographics and mood and affect the content you're going to show, I think that's huge values compared to the disadvantage of, okay, someone knows I'm on a trade show. Guess what? You go on LinkedIn, you go to social media, you tell people you're there. We know you're there.
Yeah.
So there's no privacy factor to it, for sure.
I think it'd be easy for the Vegas venues to expand out the cameras on the ceiling, into the convention center.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, someone made a good analogy. I'm not going to take credit for it, but I forgot who said it. You remember that CEO that got caught on a Coldplay concert?
Yeah.
Someone said, if only they were just to kiss and hug, like nothing happened.
Oh, yeah. It would have been fine.
It would have been fine.
Yeah,
No one would have known. It would have not made a big deal. It would have just been a nice, cool moment that everyone would have ignored, okay? So that's to show you that when you make a big deal out of a camera, you draw an attention to it.
There's a word for that, actually.
What is it?
It's called the Barbra Streisand effect.
Okay, there you go.
It's because there was people trying to look at her property or something like that in the 80s or 90s, and if she just left it alone, it would have been fine. But she made a huge deal of it, so then more people started to come and take photos of her property and stuff like that.
I mean, Michael Jordan, when he was trying to sell his property in Chicago, he wasn't really selling it. He made a big deal out of how he couldn't sell it. It started 80 million, 60, went to 23 million. They were never going to sell it. Newsflash. It was just a PR to rise his name whenever he was gone from, that's it. So I think we need to start moving on. I see all this social media always come on my feed of people going to public and taking videos. Let them do it. You don't want to be there, just keep walking. That's it. Trust me, you're not going to be on the reel if you don't pay attention to it. You're drawing when they draw that attention and you react to it, you put yourself in that space. So the same goes for trade shows. If you don't want to be known, we don't know who you are anyway. The cameras are not there to track a person. It's a demographic. It's not even something we keep. It's a temporary ID that stays for a few days so we can get the reports, and that's it. That data is gone. We're not allowed to keep it under privacy and GDPR rules, so that's that. So, yep. Let's move on, guys.
Cool stuff there, of course. Let's look to the future. What do we have coming up here in the next couple of weeks, months that folks should be paying attention to?
So the kids are going back to school.
Yep.
Maybe get some more golf game in when the temperature come down. But it's just going to be madness. And I apologize in advance if you try to reach me in the next 2 months and I'm not being responsive. It's not by design. It's just the way it's going to be. And if you're in our industry, you know how it is. But it's exciting. Every year we get about 80% retention rate of existing clients, and it's always great, and we appreciate the business. But it's the 20% that gets me excited. Mm-hmm. Who are we going to work with next? What type of activation we're going to work on? What innovation we're going to bring in? And we have some new stuff coming in, so very exciting.
Very cool. All right, guys, well, be sure to be on the lookout for that. That's going to do it for us for now here, though, on the Everybody Wants to Know podcast. Be sure to stick with us. We'll be back next week with another episode. But for now, thank you so much for watching.